The Confessions of Saint Augustine, Book 6, Chapter 1. O you, my hope from my youth, where were you to me, and whither were you gone? Had not you created me, and separated me from the beasts of the field and fowls of the air? You had made me wiser, yet did I walk in darkness and in slippery places, and sought you abroad out of myself, and found not the God of my heart, and had come into the depth of the sea, and distrusted and despaired of ever finding truth. My mother had now come to me, resolute through piety, following me over sea and land in all perils, confiding in you. For in perils of the sea, she comforted the very mariners, by whom passengers unacquainted with the deep use rather to be comforted when troubled, assuring them of a safe arrival, because you had by a vision assured her thereof. She found me in grievous peril, through despair of ever finding truth. But when I had discovered to her that I was now no longer a Manichee, though not yet a Catholic Christian, she was not overjoyed as at something unexpected, although she was now assured concerning that part of my misery, for which she bewailed me as one dead, thou to be reawakened by you, carrying me forth upon the bier of her thoughts, that you might say to the son of the widow, Young man, I say unto you, arise, and he should revive and begin to speak, and you should deliver him to his mother. Her heart then was shaken with no tumultuous exultation when she heard that what she daily with tears desired of you was already in so great part realized, in that, though I had not yet attained the truth, I was rescued from falsehood. But as being assured that you, who had promised the whole, would one day give the rest most calmly and with a heart full of confidence, she replied to me. She believed in Christ that before she departed this life, she should see me a Catholic believer. Thus much to me. But to you, fountain of mercies, poured she forth more copious prayers and tears, that you would hasten your help and enlighten my darkness. And she hastened the more eagerly to the church, and hung upon the lips of Ambrose, praying for the fountain of that water which springs up unto life everlasting. But that man she loved as an angel of God, because she knew that by him I had been brought for the present to that doubtful state of faith I now was in, through which she anticipated most confidently that I should pass from sickness into health after the access, as it were, of a sharper fit, which physicians call the crisis. Chapter 2. When then my mother had once, as she was wont in Africa, brought to the churches built in the memory of the saints certain cakes and bread and wine, and was forbidden by the doorkeeper. As soon as she knew that the bishop had forbidden this, she so piously and obediently embraced his wishes that I myself wondered how readily she censured her own practice rather than discuss his prohibition. For wine bibbing did not lay siege to her spirit, nor did love of wine provoke her to hatred of the truth, as it does to many, both men and women, who revolt at a lesson of sobriety, as men when drunk at a draught mingled with water. But she, when she had brought her basket with the accustomed festival food to be but tasted by herself and then given away, never joined therewith more than one small cup of wine, diluted according to her own abstemious habits, which for courtesy she would taste. And if there were many churches of the departed saints that were to be honored in that manner, she still carried round that same one cup to be used everywhere, and this, though not only made very watery, but unpleasantly heated with carrying about, she would distribute to those about her by small sips, for she sought their devotion, not pleasure. So soon then as she found this custom to be forbidden by that famous preacher and most pious prelate, even to those that would use it soberly, lest so an occasion of excess might be given to the drunken, and for these, as it were, anniversary funeral solemnities did much resemble the superstition of the Gentiles, she most willingly forbare it, and for a basket filled with fruits of the earth she had learnt to bring to the churches of the martyrs a breast filled with more purified petitions, and to give what she could to the poor. That so the communication of the Lord's body might be there rightly celebrated, where, after the example of his passion, the martyrs had been sacrificed and crowned. But yet it seems to me, O Lord my God, and thus thinks my heart of it in your spirit, that perhaps she would not so readily have yielded to the cutting off of this custom, had it been forbidden by another whom she loved not as Ambrose, whom for my salvation she loved most entirely, and he her again for her most religious conversation, whereby in good works, so fervent in spirit, she was constant at church, so that when he saw me, he often burst forth into her praises, congratulating me that I had such a mother, not knowing what a son she had in me, who doubted of all these things and imagined the way to life could not be found out.